I feel lost. I've been searching these woods for days, walking around in circles, unable to find what I've been looking for. This area I've been exploring lately is kind of like a floodplain, except that the reservoir on one side was built about 50 years ago, and the one on the other side over 90 years ago, but it wasn't at its current level until about 60 years. The point being that a floodplain is usually a habitat rich with diversity and can host a variety of different species of plants and animals that would not usually be as successful in a riparian or a riverside habitat. The flooding is more or less controlled by the dam, more than just rain or seasonal flooding, because the dam can release water in anticipation of a storm coming, releasing tens of thousands of gallons of water in a short period of time. Because it's a new habitat, relatively speaking, and the flooding is mainly controlled by the dam, the diversity here may not actually compare to a natural floodplain. Initially, before I realized that the dam controlled the stream that fed into the reservoir, I had been thinking I could find a nice streamside habitat that would host different wildlife and plants from the lakeside of the reservoir, because most man-made reservoirs tend to have a different depth and features on the dam side as it does on the stream side. But down here, where the water isn't flowing, it tends to get backed up and stagnate. And for all my exploring around here, I've never heard a kingfisher. I've walked the shores of the streams where I could, up and down, to try to find a good place to observe from. But the areas that I can access tend to be backed up and really muddy, while other areas just tend to be too overgrown or full of thorn bushes or swampy and just impassable. Once I get to the fresher parts of the stream, that would probably be great places to sit and wait. There's just too much underbrush or too many trees on the shoreline, and usually obstruct the view from the water, which is actually kind of a good thing, because it gives the animals a measure of safety and privacy. And even bigger birds overhead, like an eagle, osprey, or owls, can navigate through here over the water without anybody hiking nearby even knowing. Not good for me, of course, if I want to study and document the animals that live here, but obviously that's not as important as the animal's ability to move freely and stress-free. I found a higher vantage point further downstream, and you can actually see how much cover and coves that are nearly inaccessible on foot. They're closer to the wide part of the stream, but further away from the floodplain, well away from any busy public trails. I spent several days down here exploring the floodplain, trying to find a nice streamside spot to sit and wait, but found that perhaps there's not much that can live down here right now. Because of the unpredictability of the water, the higher ridges on either side that were used to create the reservoir in the first place. I have seen deer moving through here. I've seen beaver swimming through the brackish channels, but not much else stirring on the ground. No squirrels or chipmunks, no rabbits, no shorebirds wading through the water for fish. But the flooding has created a number of dead trees, making this place look more like a swamp than anything else. And if there is one thing happy to roam here in the canopy above, that's the birds, especially the woodpeckers. I've seen and heard many different species: northern flickers, red-bellied woodpeckers, downy woodpeckers, and I even took one of my favorite pictures ever of a pileated woodpecker. Although I felt lost and discouraged sometimes wandering around down here. With a bamboo forest on one end and a field choked out with kudzu on one. I know I haven't discovered all there is to discover here just yet. I just need to keep looking, and I'll know it when I find it. Until next time, what's in your backyard?